ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
Temperatures are climbing and hundreds of San Diegans are preparing for power outages. The extra steps one local community is taking to stay cool.
Plus, new court records point to possible sabotage in a fire that destroyed the USS Bonhomme Richard. What the attorney for the accused sailor is now saying.
And San Diego County is seeing a spike in the number of people who have to be hospitalized with COVID-19. The trends local doctors are seeing.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
Hundreds of people across San Diego County are preparing to have no electricity during one of the hottest weeks of the summer. Good evening. I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. That heat advisory for some local areas was just extended as SDG&E plans to move forward with several planned outages. We'll have more on the heat here in just a bit, but we begin now with our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala. She's live in Ramona, where temperatures there reached almost 100 today. Mimi.
Yeah, hi, Steve and Lindsay. The library here that we are in front of is used as a cooling center Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. As you mentioned, there are some power outages expected here, but a business owner we spoke to says people here in Ramona stay prepared.
August and September are hot. The first 2 or 3 weeks of October, very hot.
The San Diego County heat wave continues, and in Ramona, temperatures climb to nearly 100 degrees Wednesday afternoon.
Stay cool, come in and get a smoothie, you know.
Robert Bradley owns Ramona Family Naturals Market. He tells us he's used to the hot weather and doesn't really mind it, but it does slow down business.
Yeah, around lunchtime, this patio would be probably 15 or 20 people sitting out here. Two things slow us down in the weather, heat and rain. So when it's hot, it's not as nice to sit out here. It's not as comfortable to sit out here.
Heat advisories and warnings in San Diego County have been extended through Thursday at a time where SDG&E also has planned outages in place for repairs to equipment, updates, and wildfire mitigation, including a couple outages here in Ramona for Thursday and Friday.
I think generally people are used to it being in the backcountry, and especially they do rolling blackouts, or if the wind starts blowing, you just know your power is going to go off. And so you just deal with it.
When a power outage does happen, Bradley says at home they kick on the generator. And here he'll always find a way to keep his grocery store running.
We just keep all of our refrigerators closed, all of our freezers, we tape them off. And then we ring people up manually, just get a calculator out, and we write down prices, and we just do our best to serve our customer as much as possible. We don't have 100 other stores to offset the sales for one day. We're in big trouble when we lose sales. So we have to make it work. We figure it out.
And SDG&E says these outages are especially necessary because of the high risk of fires. We're live in Ramona. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Thank you, Mimi. And that hot weather is expected to last another day. ABC 10 News meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking the rising temperatures across San Diego County. Hi, Angelica.
Lindsay, the good news is that it will get better by the end of the week, but today we broke some records, so let's take a look at the numbers. In Borrego, 119, the previous record was 118 set in 1998, and that is where basically all the records are coming from that year. In Campo, we tied the record of 107, in Palomar Mountain, 97 degrees, breaking the record by 2 degrees. Areas like Alpine and Ramona stayed right around 96, 95 degrees. It all depends on where you are, of course, because Mimi showed that 98 degree today, but the official temperature at the airport was about 95 degrees. Of course, if you travel just a little bit east, most likely you are closer to 100. As we look at the numbers right now, 89 degrees there, 96 in Warner Springs, and 91 in Julian and Del Mar. Much cooler today. A big difference near the coast, but we still have to worry about the heat danger for tomorrow with a heat advisory in effect until 8 p.m. Also for the deserts, temperatures around 115 to 120 possible for one more day. That is why the excessive heat warning will continue until tomorrow. Already today in Ocotillo Wells, 121 degrees. But again, it does get better. I'll show you the improvements on the way in your 7-day forecast.
121. All right, Angelica, thank you. Now to the latest on coronavirus. San Diego County is not only seeing a spike in COVID cases, but the number of people having to be hospitalized as well because of it. For the first time since March, the number of patients with COVID in the county passed 400. Doctors also say that case positivity rates are going up, including in children.
It's probably a confluence of factors, right? And the two biggest, number one is the Delta variant, and number two is our change in public health measures, right? June 15th, we opened up the state, everybody unmasked, and then Delta came back.
Since children under 12 still are not able to get the vaccine, Dr. Longhurst says the best way to protect them is for those around them to get the shot if they can. More testing sites for the virus are opening up around the county to keep up with the rise in cases.
The city of Los Angeles is considering a proposal that would require proof of at least partial vaccination to enter public indoor spaces. That proposal is similar to a policy announced this week in New York City, but it would be more restrictive with the inclusion of retail establishments, potentially limiting access to some basic necessities. There's no word if such restrictions would extend to grocery stores. The New York City policy restricts access only to more entertainment-oriented venues, such as indoor restaurants, fitness centers, and theaters. Meantime, the World Health Organization is calling for a temporary halt on COVID-19 vaccine boosters. The agency said countries with better access to the vaccine should help others get their rollouts going, with the goal of vaccinating 10% of each country's population by the end of next month. As ABC's Ike Ejiochi reports, this comes as cases globally increase.
Promising news on the vaccine front. A senior White House official telling ABC News it's quite reasonable the FDA will fully approve Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine.
I do hope it's going to be within the next couple of weeks. They said hopefully by the end of the month. I hope it's even sooner than that.
The news comes as the World Health Organization's latest weekly COVID report confirms a global increase of over 4 million new cases of COVID-19. The U.S. leading the world in new infections, over 543,000, a 68% increase over the previous week. The CDC now forecasting hospitalizations from COVID could triple this month, suggesting admissions could climb to 24,000 a day by the end of the month. COVID attacking kids, officials saying 72,000 children contracting the virus in the last week alone. The question over requiring masks in schools, a hotly contested topic following the CDC's recommendation last week. Wednesday, Illinois' governor announcing a statewide school mask mandate. Tuesday night, a battle over a school mask mandate at a Chicago suburb ended in an altercation in the hallway after a contentious school board meeting. Vaccinations are on the rise, up 73% over the last 3 weeks, especially in states where transmission is highest. President Biden urging those in the private sector to begin requiring vaccinations and calling out states who have banned mask mandates.
But you aren't going to help at least get out of the way of the people who are trying to do the right thing. Use your power to save lives.
Now, speaking of mask mandates, Arkansas's governor called a special session to lift the ban on school mask mandates. Asa Hutchinson said he wanted to amend the law to allow schools to decide their own mask policies. Ike Ejiochi, ABC News, Washington.
And you can keep up with any developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
The attorney for the San Diego sailor who is accused of starting last summer's massive warship fire is now speaking out. This after new court records detail possible sabotage and tampering of evidence. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner first broke this story about an arson investigation. Tonight, she adds the sailor is maintaining his innocence.
A 20-year-old San Diego sailor turned major arson suspect.
I just want everybody to know that Ryan Mays denies all of the allegations that have been made against him.
Wednesday, ABC 10 News spoke to retired Lieutenant Colonel Gary Barthel, who is representing Ryan Mays, the seaman from Kentucky, now charged with aggravated arson and willfully hazarding a vessel. Last summer's explosive fire aboard the USS Bonhomme Richard injured at least 70 people and took 4 days to knock down. A newly unsealed warrant describes Mays as a SEAL dropout who hates the U.S. Navy. A former lover said he lied about their relationship and described him as volatile and bipolar. The warrant details witnesses who placed Mays at the fire's origin before it started. The document indicates in part the possibility that someone tried to sabotage firefighting efforts. An investigator found that 3 of the 4 fire stations aboard the ship appeared to have been purposefully tampered with and or disconnected.
The evidence that's alluded to in there, we have not had an opportunity to review and evaluate yet.
The Navy said last week there was enough evidence to hold a preliminary hearing for the accused sailor.
It's my understanding that the government is going to be providing us with discovery today.
Barthel added that Mays has not been put on leave.
He's performing the duties. He's got no restrictions on him at this particular point in time.
Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
A murder conviction is being upheld for the man who killed and dismembered the man you see here back in 2017. That's coming from a state appellate court today. Brian Hancock was convicted and sentenced last year for the murder of Peter Bentz. Bentz's skull was found in Campo in 2018. It wasn't positively identified until just days after the trial began. Hancock was found guilty and sentenced to over 80 years in prison.
If you ride public transportation, say goodbye to the Compass card and hello to a newer, more advanced payment card. As ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti shows us, MTS is starting to spread the word about those new cards.
MTS is launching a new payment system. This is the new Pronto card, and starting today, they're going to be out and about in the community getting these cards out to people. For someone like Iris Cotto,
I'm waiting for this bus to take me to work.
Public transportation is crucial. She rides at least 6 times a week.
You can get anywhere. I like that you can get almost anywhere in San Diego.
Now the system is changing for her and everyone else who rides MTS.
It's supposed to be easier and give you more options.
We have the Compass card right now, but that is a fare system that was introduced back in 2006, so it's pretty outdated.
Is this the line, sir?
MTS is now handing out Pronto cards, hoping to update the older system. Pronto cards will help speed up some delays in accessing funds. Also, multiple riders can be added on one account to make it easier on families. And there's a fare capping system that stops charging you once you hit the daily $6 fee or monthly $72 amount.
We want to make sure that people have the best experience riding transit, and we know that technology is changing, and we want to be able to keep up with the times.
For the month of August, MTS is bringing these pop-up tents around the community to get these cards out to people. Then in September, they officially launch, but everyone will be riding for free. Come October, that's when the Pronto card officially begins with payments necessary. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.